Okay, hi everyone. Hi. So tonight is Tu B'Shvat, and so we have a really big class tonight, and that's because it's a really big time that we're in right now. You know, when the life that we're experiencing on the outside, everything that we're seeing on the news, everything that is scaring us, everything that we're hearing, all the people that are dying. And before I begin, it just reminded me that I want to dedicate this class to all the cholim in Klal Yisrael, that all the cholim in Klal Yisrael shall have a complete refuah shalema. Say amen. And, what we're going to talk a lot about tonight is this power of this concept of olam pnimi makrin olam chitzoni, that once we understand this concept, and it's not only a Torah concept, it is a scientific concept. And once we get it, we've just been brainwashed. We've been brainwashed not to understand life the way it really is supposed to work, how to really, get the things that we want and not be frustrated our whole life because we don't have the things that we want. The Torah explains to us and science. Today I heard an amazing class by Joe Dispenza, who's really, really amazing. I never really got into him until today, really. I've heard his stuff in the past, but I never really took to him until today, because I came upon this class. It's a 2.5-hour class. And what he said there was just tons of science and brilliant. And it's so incredible when you hear the science behind the Zohar, when you hear the science behind what the Torah says, it's so brilliant. But basically he was explaining how our every thought we have sends off a chemical. There's a chemical, and that chemical makes us feel the things that we feel. So let's say I think about someone now in a negative light. Like I thought they didn't have any money and I gave them money, and then someone told me, oh, that guy, he has so much money, or something like that. And what that sparks in me is a thought. And the thought that sparks in me is what a cheat, or what a ganav, or whatever. Right. And then that creates a feeling, because the thought has a chemical, and the chemical creates the feelings. Okay. So we were taught to kind of live life in a very passive way, where life happens at us and we go through the experiences that we go through and we meet the people that we meet. And then we come out on the other end, whether on top or not on top. And then we kind of blame the people in our, that traumatized us, and the experiences that we went through in our childhood, and a lot of those things. And that's why we're still stuck in a certain pattern. And that's why we don't have the things that we want. Right? We have this whole thing that we live by, this almost like this script, this code, that we live by it, and we really believe it, and we subscribe to this, to this reality that I am this way and my life is this way because of all the things that I've gone through that hurt me, the lack of trust that I didn't have in people, because my heart, my trust was broken, and my heart was broken so many times, and therefore I'm scarred and I'm traumatized, and that's why I can't, excel in the areas in my life that I really, really want to excel in, the ones that are actually leaving me feeling, down on myself and down on life and just kind of bored. We all want an upgrade. Who here does not want an upgrade? We all want an upgrade, and in our life. And when do we get sad? We get sad, especially now during these days where things are really big. Things are not stam things. Life is not the way it used to be. Everybody will agree to that. Our lives are not the way they used to be. Our lives have completely changed. We are living, one of the 7 basic things that people need in their life is the knowledge that the ground underneath their feet is not shaking. That they're safe, that they know they have a place to go and they're safe. They have that basic need met, okay, which is, I have a roof over my head and the ground underneath my feet is not shaking. So I have this certainty about my life. And what that means to us as human beings is that we need that sense of I know what to expect. And we're living in a reality where that's not happening. That's just not the reality. The reality is that we don't know what to expect. And the reality is that we've really been living this way for a while now. It's taking us a while to hop, to really understand that this is crazy what we're living in. But at the same time, while it's crazy, it's obviously, heavenly divine, and it's from Hashem. And this is what Hashem has set up the stage for us to experience, to go through. And that's what we're going to learn tonight. We're going to learn so much depth about the time that we're in right now, and the time that we're about to embark on. Because again, everything in our life, everything in the world is a manifestation of an internal reality first. Just like you have the fruit. Tonight is Tu B'Shvat, right? Tonight here in Eretz Yisrael, it's Tu B'Shvat. It's going to be Tu B'Shvat in Chutz La'aretz soon. Just like you have the fruit. Right? The fruit is what? The fruit is the manifestation of what? It's a manifestation of what the seed had to go through. It had to first get planted and then had to get disintegrated. And then once it was disintegrated and it came out of the seed came out, then what happens? Then it went sprouted, then you know when it's disintegrated, you know that the growing process is beginning. That's when the growth begins. When the seed disintegrates, it happens in the same moment. That same moment is that the seed disintegrates in the ground, and that same moment you know that growth is happening right now, right? It's taking place. So in essence, the fruit that you're holding in your hand that you're gonna make a bracha on and you're gonna eat on Tu B'Shvat, it's a mitzvah. And I mean, it's not a mitzvah, but it's definitely within the energetic time to eat fruits that are either from Eretz Yisrael or that are the fruits that grow in Eretz Yisrael. And there's 30 different types of fruits. So eat all the different types of fruits, whatever you can get your hands on. If you can make a shechianu in any of them, that would be even better. Eat the fruits of the Shiva Saminim, right? Try to eat the 7 fruits of Eretz Yisrael, which are let's see if I can get this. I didn't rehearse this, so please don't judge me. So we have the pomegranate, we have olives, we have figs, we have wheat, we have geffen, which is grapes or grape juice. We have barley, and was that it? Did I do 6 or I do 7? Let's see. Chita, seora, geffen, te'ina, shemen, zayit, and somebody help me. What are 2 other ones? Pomegranate and okay. Oh, what's it called? Date. There you go. So thank you everybody. I appreciate the love. So those are the 7 fruits of Eretz Yisrael, and if you can get your hands on those and eat them now, nice, Terry. I got you afterwards. So if you can eat them today, tonight, during Tu B'Shvat, what is it symbolize? What are we symbolizing when we're doing this? So listen to this thought. It's so wonderful and so deep and so amazing. Because in essence, my friends, what we're experiencing on the outside and the life, when you're living your life and you're going to work and you're walking down the street and you're hearing the news and all the exchanges on the phone that we have with each other of this one passing away, Rahman al-San, and this one passing away. Just this week, a few people that I know passed away, young women that I know passed away, and so we're living through a time that is a very, very, very shaky time. We're very, 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 very close to the end, but it's like the Tanaim said, it's a time right before Mashiach. It's going to be such a shaky time in terms of Emunah, in terms of God. What are you doing to us? God, what are you doing to us? So in essence, this whole time right now of Tu B'Shvat, it's a time like this. It's a time when the seed meets the ground, it disintegrates in the ground, and then you know that growth is starting to happen. On the outside, you don't see nothing right now. If you go outside and you look at the trees are bare. It's the deepest winter that there is, right? And during the time of Tu B'Shvat, it's winter. The trees are bare. There's no fruit. There are no leaves. There's none of that going on, right? And so on the outside, it looks like nothing's happening, but on the inside, everything is happening. On the inside, underneath the ground, everything is starting to take place now. When on the outside, it looks like nothing's happening. And it's very, very, very symbolic right now. It's not just symbolic, like, symbolism. It is happening. It is happening in the Bria right now. The energy of birth is happening in the Bria right now. It is the birthday of the Ilanot. Now, the Ilanot, the trees, it says, the pasuk is, let me give you the exact pasuk. 1 second. The pasuk is, באחד בשבט ראש השנה לאילן כדברי בית שמאי. באחד בשבט ראש השנה כדברי רב שנה בית הלל אומרים ב-15 בו. So Bet Hillel, who we paskin like, they say Rosh Hashanah La'ilan, and that's the exact words in the verse. So what does that mean? It is, anytime we see the word Rosh, we know that it is the Gar'in, it is the seed, it is the DNA, it is the coding of what's going to come soon. Okay, so it is the coding of what's going to come soon. Rosh Hashanah is the coding. It has the coding. It has the DNA. It has all of what's necessary for the whole year that unravels ahead of us. The whole year that unravels ahead of us. So it's it's the nucleus for everything that's going to happen in the year. So right now, Tu B'Shvat is Rosh. Again, we see Rosh Hashanah Le'ilan, where it's whatever happens to the Ilan, in essence, happens to our energy as well, spiritually. It's happening to our energy as well. All the stuff that we see on the news and on the outside and all that stuff, it's really happening. Just like we know the movie The Matrix, it's such a brilliant example of what the Zohar teaches us. That first it happens on the inside and then you see it on the outside. What we're seeing on the outside, in essence, we're creating internally. And now it says that everything that happens in the world happens because of Klal Yisrael, happens for Klal Yisrael, happens as the result of Klal Yisrael. And listen to how this fits in with with this week's Parashat, because it's so. This is the exact energy that we're on right now. We just walked into this energy, and the energy is we're on the outside. It looks gray, and it looks barren, and it looks like bad news. Oy Hashem Yirachim, and we should be asking for Rachamim, 100%. But we have to understand. Just like I heard in this talk today by Joe Dispenza, and I'm reading here about Tu B'Shvat and in the Parsha, we're gonna connect it all together soon. You have to understand, what does he say? He says, in order for you to experience the things that you want to experience in your life for real, not just in theory, but for real, in order for you to experience those things, you have to live in your future body. What that means in your future emotional body, what that means is that if you understand that you have a magnetic field around you, we have a magnetic field around us, and you can also scientifically prove that we have a magnetic field. Human beings have an energy to them, and your energy either pulls the things that you want or pushes it away. Okay, it either pulls people into your life and allows you to have the relationships and the love that you want, or it pushes it away. And now we don't realize that we can grab that steering wheel instead of letting it turn out of control. And I don't know why I'm stuck, and why I'm lonely, and why this is happening to me, and why I don't have mazel, and why God hates me, that he puts me in this situation over and over again. And I don't know why that is because we together are partners with the creator of the world. In other words, for him to give you things in your life, for him to allow things to happen, and he wants to. It's almost like, a nursing mother. More than the baby wants to be nursed, the mother wants to nurse. Right? The mother wants to give. The mother is dying to give to her baby. Right? It's a natural instinct aside from an emotional one as well. Right? So that's the idea. God wants to be mashpia. That's his whole essence, is to give. He's the giver. He's the creator. He's the one behind life and everything that there is. His essence, his whole being is to just lehetiv, to do good, to give. That's his whole energy. That's everything he wants. But in order for that to happen, and he tells us, you need a password to get in. Yes, 613. If you want to get into the Zoom one, yes, 613 is the password there. The code for everything. So if you want to be able to experience God's blessing, and he wants to give it to you so badly, then all you have to do is understand that you are in charge of the Kli. Oh, 1 second. So I get to be in charge of the Kli, and I create the Kli, and when I create the Kli, he just gives me the thing that I need. Okay? Once I create the vessel, now how do I create a vessel? What's this creation of this vessel? And it's brilliant. This is so brilliant because it's so clarifying. It's like, instead of being stuck in all these bad energies and being angry and being sad and being upset and feeling stuck and all of these things that we're in all the time, and getting out of these cycles and getting out of these loops, and especially people that are here in Eretz Yisrael, where most of us are in the house from morning to night with our children, and lockdown after lockdown. It's been weeks and weeks and weeks, and it's just, it's to keep on top of your game, and to keep happy, and to keep inspired, and to keep loving and giving, and to be in that space, you need a lot of help. You need really a lot of help, and it becomes so clarifying when you know what to do. And this is what the Zohar tells us to do, and this is what science tells us to do, and this is what everything is telling us to do, and this is the reality of it, and this is what this parsha is telling us to do. What is the thing to do? The thing to do is you experience the harsh energies around you, you experience the difficult days, you have the lulls, you have the lows, you have the depression, you have the stuckness, you have the feeling of where am I going, what am I doing? What am I living, like, what am I doing with my life? You know, we're trying to hold on to life so dearly with all these vaccinations and all this talk and all the things that we're doing. We're trying to hold on to life so dearly. What do we do? Do we not? We're trying to just hold on to life so badly, but then we feel this feeling of emptiness of like, what am I doing with my life? What am I doing with my life? And a lot of us are in a position where we have to reevaluate, because we don't have jobs to go to, and we don't have the daily mundane grind that we're used to, and we don't have all of our addictions, right? All the things that we go out and we do and we like and we accomplish, and we don't have that. So it becomes a lot more apparent. It becomes a lot more, just it stands out more, like, what am I doing with my life? Right? What am I doing with this life that everybody's struggling so much to hold on to? And we're all davening for each other and caring for one another, and hearing all these sad things that are coming to our phones and all these messages of people passing away, right? So it's the dynamic that we're in right now, the energy that we are in right now. You have to realize that you're not alone. We're all on that same feeling. We're all in that same, because the energy that we're in right now is impacting us. It's impacting us. The news, the scares, it's impacting us, and it creates an energy about us. So what happens and what do we do? So this is what we do. God wants to give us the shefa, and we have to create a vessel in order to receive the shefa. And the vessels are the actions that we take, or the actions that we take. It's actions, because this world is all about actions. It's all about asiyah. It's all about actions, creating vessels. That's our only job in this world. Our only job in this world is to create vessels. The vessels is hishtadlut. Hishtadlus, that's what it is. It's trying, okay? It's trying to do something and trying to put one foot in front of the next. Right now, which was about 2 hours ago, I felt this like energy of like, oh my God, like so I have to feel better. Like I have to get out of this, ew, it's like this like peel. Sometimes I feel it. I don't feel it sneaking on me, but then it sneaks on me. And all of a sudden I have this like down, or I'm sad, or it's like this combination of these energies that I don't welcome and I don't want, right? But I understand that they're there. I understand that they've come because I've allowed them to come. How have I allowed them to come? By not creating enough vessels. And not creating enough vessels means, let's talk in the positive terms, okay, in the positive way. Creating vessels means, let's say I'm on a rant. Let's say I'm about to get angry. Let's say I feel sad. Feeling that, you reacted to the feeling, but knowing how to come out of that, like not let it completely take over you and yell and scream down to your last word until later, 4 or 5 hours later, you feel guilty and you feel terrible. And why did I say that? And I didn't mean that. And why did I go that far? Right? So in the moment when you've reacted, creating a vessel means, well, we prepared part of this, but not, this is the direction, but apparently it is the direction we have to speak about. Because creating a vessel, which is day-to-day life, means that in that moment, you try to make it shorter. Okay, make your reaction shorter. Make your anger, your aggression a little shorter. Stop it a little before it gets to the end, till you've said every word. Okay, when you do that, you've created vessels. When you come out of your room in the morning and you smile to your family members and you say, "Good morning, everybody," you're creating vessels. You're setting a tone. You're getting out an energy. You're affecting other people. You're giving them a good vibe. You're giving them a good energy. Even if you don't receive the same response in return, it doesn't matter. You're giving people a feeling of that I see you and I care about you. That automatically creates vessels. Anything that you do in terms of coming out of that dark energy, of that sad energy, that itself allows you to break out, and that allows you to receive a new energy. Now remember this, that like attracts like. We receive the energy that we let out. Okay, so we receive, Hashem fills up our vessel with the vessel that becomes open to that feeling. Okay, the vessel that becomes open to that feeling. If I'm sitting here and I am bummed out and sad and lost, and I'm just in this mode of like, okay. So if I'm here for an extended period of time, I'm not saying you can never be there. I'm just saying that if you let that linger for too long, that becomes your magnetic field. That becomes who you're attracting. That becomes the feelings that you attract. That becomes the experiences that you experience. That becomes that. So we have to learn how to chop it down. No, I don't want to become that. I don't want more of my past into my future. Because if I don't learn how to cut that, if I don't learn how to reshape that, if I don't learn how to come at it from a different angle, if I understand that I am the creator of my reality and I can take a left and I can take a right and I don't have to keep going in the same loop my whole life and then experiencing the same experiences all the time and drawing into my life the same experiences and the same feeling and the same emotions and the same, that same thing. If I want to upgrade, right? And that's the key word here. We want to upgrade. We can. We have everything that we need in order to upgrade. You just have to, like he said today in the recording, all you have to do is put yourself, your emotions and your mind in your future emotional body. Means you want to be the person. If you're single and you're looking to attract someone, right? And you're looking to find your zibug, then the way to do that is by becoming the person that you want to attract in your life. And how does that happen? Not overnight. Nothing happens overnight. And that's what we're learning from the message of Tu B'Shvat. That right now we see an empty, naked tree, but in essence, all of its growth and all of its bounty and all of its fruits and all of its beauty and all of its color and all of its fragrance, it's all happening right now in the darkest moments underneath the ground. That's when it's all happening. The DNA is being written. It's all coming out. It's all growing. It's all connecting. It's all the wiring is taking place. Oh my gosh. So yeah, I don't see it on the outside. Right now, if I walk outside, I'll see a barren tree. I will. And I won't see any flowers and I won't be able to pick any fruit. Even though here in Eretz there are beautiful trees with oranges, and it's just so stunning. You can just pick oranges wherever you go, and lemons, and it's just so beautiful. But in essence, it's the darkest time of the year. It's the most winter. It is the most dark. It is when you don't see anything. But everything is in essence happening. Right now, everything is happening, my friends. Right now. The Geula is happening right now, and Mashiach is happening right now, and our happiness and our unity and our love and all the people that are sick, all of their health is happening right now. It's all being sown right now into the creation, because it's Rosh Hashanah LaIlan. It's Rosh Hashanah LaIlan for the Ilan. It says Ki Adam Etz Hasadeh, Ki Adam Etz Hasadeh. The man and tree are compared very, very, very much likened spiritually in Torah. Are very much likened to each other. There's a lot of similarities between them. A lot of the energy that makes them up is similar. There's so much depth. I'm literally maybe touching the tip of this deep, deep iceberg, which is so full of incredible just connections of the time, us, the energy, and how it's all happening right now. But I'm just gonna tap on this one last point on Tu B'Shvat. I don't know if it's my last point on Tu B'Shvat, but Tu B'Shvat, in essence, right now, if we connect to the fruits, because here I have my dried fruits here. Some of my dried fruits, got some mango and some mishmish and some peaches. So none of them are, but I have some shiva saminim. But it's good because they're Eretz Yisrael grown. So what happens when we eat? Okay, because everything in this life, we have to have a physical action connected to it. Let me give you an example from the Parashat. So brilliant how this is in this week's Parashat, Dafka, the week that it's Tu B'Shvat. In this week's Parashat, they come out of Mitzrayim. Paro says, get out. They leave. They go out, and then he starts chasing them, right? He starts chasing them. Your worst nightmare is chasing you. And then they have the ocean in front of them. They have Yam Suf in front of them. So what do? They freak out. Right? And what happens when they freak out? Moshe starts to daven. And what does Hashem say to Moshe there? I love this. This is my favorite thing ever. What does Hashem say to Moshe there? Hashem, they see power behind, they see Mitzrayim behind them. They're stuck between a rock and a hard place. They have Yam Suf in front of them. And Moshe goes up and he starts davening to Hashem. What does Hashem say there to him? Hashem says to him, stop praying. Stop praying. Now is not a time to pray. Now is the time to act. Create a vessel. Now is the time to act. And so Nachshon ben Aminadav, what does he do? He jumps into the Yam Suf. He takes the biggest risk of his life because he's about to drown. And as he's about to drown and hits his nose, the sea splits, right? And there, the Lubavitcher Rebbe explains to us, he says to us in this brilliant book that I always learn from and recommend, Daily Wisdom. Lubavitcher Rebbe teaches there, he says that in essence, and lots of sources teach it there, lots of sources talk about this concept of we need to be in this idea and this understanding that we need to be here in order to catch the ball. Like God wants to throw the ball to you. He catch. He says, what do you want? You want marriage? What do you want? You want happiness? What do you want? Do you know what you want? Or you're just so stuck and being bummed out about the fact that you don't have it. Let's stop for a second to be bummed out about what we don't have. And let's think for a second about what we want to have. So we think about what we want to have, and then we get bummed out when we don't have it. But we don't give it enough time. We don't give it enough time to cook. We have to give time. We have to give what we want time to cook. And you could have wanted it your whole life, but you're sabotaging it by getting bummed out every single time you think about it. Oh, I want to get married, but I'm alone. Oh, I want to have, I want my career to be where it's not, and it's not, and it's so burdening. Oh, I want my health but it's not. My health sucks. Right? We don't even give it time to cook, to set. That's the whole message of Tu B'Shvat. That now is when the roots are going into the ground. Now is when what you're going to see in the spring, what you're going to be eating in the summer. Now it's being planted. So change the action, change the reaction. That's what we have to realize. We have to change the reaction. We have to think about what we want. Let's plant the seeds of what we want. What do you want? And then when you decide what you want, I want to get married. I want to fall in love. I want to build a home. I want to have more parnasa. I want the Jewish people to do tshuva and to bring Mashiach and love each other. I want unconditional happiness. I want to radiate with love and connection to everyone that comes into my life. I want to be a giver. I want to be a lover of humanity. I want to be in a space of wonderment and excitement and no fear. Right? I want to be in those. That's where I want to be. So think about that and plant those seeds and move into that emotional body. Move into that emotional body, move into that emotional space. So what did Miriam do when they were about to leave Mitzrayim? Before they were about to leave Mitzrayim, still when they were in the place of Vaishmad Ne'ekatam, when they were just moaning already, they didn't even have any words left to pray. They were just moaning for the Geula. What Miriam came out with a drum. Because she was already planting the seeds of what we want to see. We have to plant the seeds now of what we want to experience. If we're in the bummed out stage, then we're going to perpetuate bummed outness. But if we're in a stage of, I see that the situation is not wonderful, and I see the situation is not great around me, I understand. But I am giving birth right now, just like Tu B'Shvat, just like the trees are. We are giving birth to a new life. And how do we give birth to a new life? We give birth to a new life by experiencing it, by talking about it, by getting up and dancing, literally dancing, getting up and dancing. You're bummed out. Rabbi Nachman says, and so many other sources talk about this also, you have to change your energy. You have in that moment. Don't wait for it to come to you. Start clapping. Start clapping. Get up and start dancing, up and down, jumping jacks, jumping down. Let's go, up and down, jumping jacks. You have to break the cycle that's creating the energy that's keeping you stuck. Right? And that is the work of Geula. This is what we're talking right now. We're talking, my friends, we're talking Geula work. We're talking Mashiach work. We're talking Mashiach Torah. That's what we're talking about right now. We're not being stuck in the moment anymore. We have to stop being stuck in this moment and start creating the moments ahead. And starting to create the moments ahead is by tasting them, making them happen. You want to be happy? Get up and down and start dancing up and down. Move your body. You have to change your chemistry. You have to change your energy. And that's how it works. That's how it comes. It's flipped in from the inside out. It's not when I fall in love, then I'll be happy. When I lose the weight, then I'll get married. When I'll finish my degree, then I'll get a job. If you're excited, if you're passionate, things will come to you, and you'll see how it's going to just exactly what's supposed to come to you is going to come to you. our life, when we learn it from an internal place, when we learn it from an olam pnimi, makrin olam chitzoni, that our internal world manifests our external world, our external reality, we understand that there's no changing in anyone and there's no real changing anything. It's all happening inside of us. And like I started saying before, that it says in the Torah that everything happens for Klal Yisrael. Everything. There's an earthquake on the other side of the world. It's happening for us. Everything is happening in the world for Klal Yisrael. When I mean for Klal Yisrael, it's for Klal Yisrael to see. We have to start measuring what's happening around us and evaluating our reaction to it, because we are the ones that are shaping the moral code of the world. We're the ones that are setting the tone. We're the ones, we are the chosen people. We are the chosen people. So by the fact that we're the chosen people, we're the ones that are leading the tribes. We're the ones that are setting the tone. We're the ones that are setting the vibe. And if we're going to be stuck in their vibe, if we're going to be stuck in the vibe of fear and trepidation and what will be and death and sickness, and if we're going to be stuck in the mochen dekatness and the smallness of what's going on, and not doing our job, which our job is to get into the mochen degadlus, to see the destination ahead of us. Where are we going? Where are we leading this world into? What kind of messianic era are we taking the world into? The Mashiach is not just coming for Klal Yisrael. Mashiach is coming for the entire world. It's a new reality. We're setting a tone for a new way, a new life. What kind of life are we living? What kind of a reality is this that we're living? Are we happy with this reality? This. What is it? What is this reality that we're living? Fear and death and trepidation and lockdowns and people breaking down and suicide rates climbing and drug and overdoses rates climbing and all the things that we're experiencing. It's not pasha what we're going through as a community as a whole. It's not simple what we're going through right now. When we all are aware of it, we all know it, we all feel it. We're all feeling the same thing. We're all experiencing the same stuff. All of us. Should we not? Is it? Yeah, we're in this place of like literally trying to save our own lives. And that is very draining. It's extremely draining to be in that place. And the whole world is in that place, and everything is hitting the fan. It's all hitting the fan, and the whole world is in that place. And everyone's fighting, and everyone has their own thoughts, and everyone has their own take, and everybody has their own approach, and everyone's trying to show the other person that that's not the right approach. We're all trying to save each other, but we're all drowning each other. And because we're taking the wrong approach. This is not our business. Our business is now, the Jewish people are in the driver's seat, all right? I'm not saying this, the Torah is saying, and it's the reality. It's not that we're privileged, it's the responsibility. It's a mega responsibility. We are the parents. And we're setting the tone for the whole world, where the world is going to go, where we're going, the direction that we're going is where Klal Yisrael is taking it. And whether we like it or not, that's the truth, because God put us in that situation. And the non-Jews know it, and the religious non-Jews know it. And they support it, and they want us to be connected to our mission, and they want us to get on top of our game, and they want us to stop, to put our crown back on our heads and remember that we're in charge of where this world is heading and where it's going. And as long as we're busy with the nitty-gritty details of the news, and who said what and who signed what and all that stuff, we're forgetting our power and how to use it, and that it needs to be turned on ASAP like yesterday. And a lot of people are doing the work, but the work is understanding that Klal Yisrael creates the energetic, magnetic field for the rest of the world. We create the energy in the world. What we're seeing, the chaos, the confusion, the dire need to stay alive in the world that we're seeing right now is what is happening inside of Klal Yisrael right now. It's happening in our soul body. It's happening in us, in Klal Yisrael. Because if we were at peace with each other, and if we just extended more love towards one another, differences of opinions are just the Yetzer Hara. It's just the Yetzer Hara. He's trying to make it harder right now, because we're getting closer to the light. We're getting closer to the end. We're at the end. We're at the very, very end right now. So he's trying to make it harder. So he's trying to make us fight. He's trying to make us angry at each other. He's trying to make us, accuse each other and put each other down and speak disrespectfully to each other. He's trying to make all these things happen because we're so close to the end, and that's what's really going on. If you see, If you see what's going on online, if you see what's going on Facebook, the conversations, they're harsh. They're really, really harsh. And a lot of people, they can't take that kind of harshness. It's too much. People get really hurt by the comments that other people make to them because they said something that they thought was stupid, or they disagreed with their view on Corona, or on Biden, or on whatever is happening on the setting right now. But it's just a stage. You understand? This is just this slide. We're on the slide right now. Just like a year ago, we were on the slide of, oh my God, pandemic, everybody's indoors. It all broke out a year ago, more or less. That's when it all started, right? That was the slide we were on then. Now we're fast forward a year. We're on a whole different slide. Now we're on the slide of vaccines. Now we're on the slide of masks. Now we're on the slide of all the things that are, happening in the schools, the lack of schools, all the stuff that now we're on a whole different sugya. We're moving slides. So when we get stuck and caught up in the present day slide, it's like us underneath the ground, looking at the seed, breaking apart. The seed is disintegrating. We're staring at the seed that's falling apart. It's disintegrating. It's completely, there's nothing left to it. It's dark under here. It's cold under here. It's cold up on top over here. The tree is naked. It looks like at the end of the road. But Klal Yisrael has to be smarter. Because when we see destruction, and when we see disintegration, and we've seen it our whole history, when we see it, we know that it means that simultaneously, at the same moment, at the same time, life and growth and newness is sprouting. It is happening from this, because of this. In through this, a new beginning is coming. The light is coming through the most darkest times. And I'm not just saying it because it sounds like a nice Dvar Torah. I'm not just saying this because it sounds like a nice Dvar Torah. We see it and we know we play a very, very big part in this happening. We play a huge part in this happening. Because the more we focus on, I see the seed in front of me disintegrating, and I know that it's a sign that the spring is coming, that growth is coming, that fruits are coming, that a tree is coming with leaves and flowers, and life is sprouting, it's blossoming from this, I know. And as long as I keep my focus, as long as I keep my mission, as long as I keep my energy completely focused on what's coming from this, and what's growing from all of this sadness and all of this darkness, it's not l'shav, it's not for nothing. And what's coming from this bitterness, and what's coming from this darkness, and what's coming from all this what we see on the stage around us is just darkness. It's just a lot of, wow, it can seem very overwhelming on all ends, on all fronts, for so many people. But we have to, as Klal Yisrael, as being in the driver's seat, as being Mamlechas Kohanim B'Goy Kadosh, as being the chosen people, as being who we were chosen to be. Nobody asked us. We weren't asked. We were told. The Kafa Aleim Har Kagikas, he put a mountain over our heads. This is our responsibility. As a parent, you're not asked. Do you want to wake up in the middle of the night? Do you not want to feed your baby? Do you want to go shopping? Do you want to send them to school? Do you want to get them haircuts? Do you want to take them to doctors? No one asks you. You have to. It comes with the responsibility. It's the whole package deal. It's the whole package deal. We got to get on our game as Klal Yisrael and realize that the longer we're stuck underneath the ground with the rest of the world, looking at the facts on the ground, looking at what is, looking at, oh my God, on all the bad things that are happening and what's going to be, and we're not in Geula mode, we're not in the mode of on top of the ground. It's going to grow. It's going to be a tree. It's going to have flowers. It's going to have leaves. It's going to have fruit. It's going to be sweet. It's going to be good. We're not in that space of creating the reality that we want to see, that what we're pulling into our magnetic field. We're not in that space. We're going to be in the space of Ivei. We're going to perpetuate Ivei. And that is not our job. Our job is to perpetuate love, because that's what we want to see. Who cares if they think that they should get vaccinated and they don't want to get vaccinated? Let everyone do what they want to do. What are we going to do now? Hate each other? You're going to tell her she's stupid and dumb and she should stop writing on Facebook, and then her mind is retarded? You're going to say all these negative things to her because she thinks that vaccination will save her life? Or vice versa for someone that doesn't want to get vaccinated? Don't you see that that's Seitzahar trying to get us caught up in his web? As long as we're down here in the low energy, as long as we're down here in the dark energy, then we're not here creating the life and creating the reality that this world needs to experience. That what we need to bring into the reality, because that is our job. As long as, and again, remember, olam pnimi makrin olam chitzoni. Everything that you see out there is a reflection of what's going on in here. It's a reflection of what's going on inside. Klal Yisrael is in a place right now where we are being tested so much, where either we are going to set fires with each other, God forbid, set fires and arguments and machlokas and not agreeing and all the things that we say to each other and all the things that we say about each other. And do you believe it? She this, she that, she's not getting back. She sent her kid, he had corona. How dare they? All the talks that are going on, don't we understand? It's a trap. It's a booby trap. Because in essence, right now, as long as we understand that we are the guide for where this thing is going. Klal Yisrael is the guide. So what we have to do in the moment, let's get practical for a second, my friends. What we have to do in the moment is think above, or bird's eye view. Bird's eye view. Think above what you see. The person's cursing you, the person's putting you down. Send love. Send love. It's only a test. We have to pick up the vibration of our nation. We have to elevate this vibration that we're in because we are the drivers. We are in the driver's seat. So more love amongst each other. Extend your arms, extend them out wide, extend them to people. Extend love, extend smiles, extend compliments, extend good vibes, extend love, love, love. Safety, peace, we're good with each other. Giving in, understanding the other person's point of view. You can hold on to your point of view, understand the other person, where they're coming from. Even if you're not in their shoes, you don't know all the details. It's okay, you don't have to know. Love them for where they're at, because it doesn't matter. The details on the ground don't matter right now. What matters right now is creating the future of where we're going. We can't continue being in low energy and low vibrations and thought, small thinking, and such a mochin dekan, such a small way of thinking and such a small way of behaving, and tit for tat and speaking lashon hara, and all those, that dark energy that creates anger. You know, those dark energies, when we God forbid open up space for them in our life, anger, we let our anger get the better of us. Now we're human beings, so we're going to let anger come in, and it happens to us all the time. The way to start getting on top of it, because what happens is that with the anger, you know what happens? It brings with it an energy, and the energy that you have later, the energy of like you feel bad about yourself, the guilt that comes up out of nowhere, the anxiety that comes up out of nowhere, the panic attacks that come out of nowhere. Where do you think those come from? The Zohar explains those are the klipos. They're dark energy. They're forces that attach themselves when the Yetzer Hara gets you to be angry and to snap. You're his. You're eating out of the palm of his hand. So you're there eating out of the palm of his hand. What the Zohar explains to us is create kalim in that moment to create a vessel. How? Minimize it. You see yourself getting all heated, you see your kids, you see this, you see that, go into the room, do jumping jacks, breathe, I don't know, open a window, smile in the mirror, jump up and down, do something to come out of that, because right now you are in the clenches of the dark energy, because once he has you, then you get angry, then you gossip, then you yell, then you put people down, then you put yourself down, you eat whatever you want, you're dysfunctional, you do crazy things because you're feeling all this stuff, but you don't understand that that's what it means. Avera gora savera. The energy brings with it another energy, and that energy, that's not an energy we want to perpetuate in our life. So what do we want to perpetuate in our life? We want to perpetuate the energy of what I want to experience in my life, who I want to see, what kind of interactions I want to have, what I want to feel in my life, what I want to be for other people in my life. Right? And we have to, as a klal, as a whole, as Klal Yisrael, we have to know that we are in the driver's seat. We are the leaders. We are the leaders of the world. And the world is in a chaotic place. The world is in a chaotic place, but it's also in a very beautiful place because it's changing. And I think that it means a lot about, it's a way to see what's going on in the world, just like, you know, how they say that, you know, what a person's house looks like or what a person's room looks like has very much to do with how they're doing on the inside, with how they're feeling on the inside, right? So if you're feeling like a mess on the inside and you're scattered on the inside of any of, so your the environment around you is going to look the same, right? And when you're trying, just a matter of trying. We're never going to be perfect. We're never going to get it 100%, ever. We're never meant to. We're not meant to get it 100. You're never meant to be the perfect mom and be the perfect wife and be the perfect thing that you see all over Instagram and Pinterest and all these things that you see all these moms doing all these things with their kids, or you see the wives, or you see the husbands. We're not meant to be that. We're not. We are meant to try to be a happy person. And when you're a happy person and you fight the negative energies in your life that are trying to pull you down, that's all that you have to do. That's it. That's it. How to fight them? By creating positive energies. There's no fighting the negative energies. Rabbi Nachman explains there's no fighting the negative energies. There's no fighting them. They're too big. They're too strong. You're sitting there sulking, down, depressed. You feel that cloud over your head. They're too strong. The only way to really be able to get around them, not to fight them, to get around them, is to change your pace. Change your pace, put on music, dance, clap, act silly, smile, do those things. You literally are at war. We are at war. Now I want to end here. What time is it? I have no clue what time it is. Oh, it's 10:20. Okay, we still have a little bit of time. We have 10 minutes. I'm going to end here and explain how in this week's, we know that in the Parsha of the week, the Parsha has very much energetically to do with the times that we're living in. Okay, it's not accidental that this is Parashat Beshalach and this is the week that we're in right now. It's not accidental at all. It's actually extremely, extremely meaningful. And what that means is that this week's Parsha, right, we said already that Moshe had this, that's his prayer. God says, stop praying. Nachshon and Aminadav jumps into the Yam Suf opens, they cross, the Egyptians walk in, they drowned, all of their wealth and everything is on the bottom of the ocean, right? The Jews are then, it's spit out. The Jews then collect all of the stuff until the following day. There was so much to collect that they were collecting all of it. And remember that they were collecting all of the loot. They were collecting, not really loot, all of the Egyptians' stuff, their gold, their silver, all of their wealth. They were collecting it because God told them to collect it, only because Hashem said to collect it. They weren't collecting it from their own desire to collect this stuff. Hashem told them to collect it because there was a tikkun that had to have gotten done with that jewelry, with that gold. There was a tikkun that needed to get done with their stuff. And later they get out from the other side of the sea, and what happens? They start to complain. What did they start to complain about? They start to complain about not having water. Now this is all extremely high, deep, energetic. Open your hearts, open your minds, listen to this concept, because it is our life. It is our life. And when we learn how to use the Torah tools and guides to get it right, to get this life right, that we only get to live it once. And it's so frail, and we see how frail it is right now. We're living through a time where life is so important to us. Where what we took for granted in the past, we're not taking for granted right now. We understand that we have to take care of ourselves. We understand that life is fragile. We understand that. So when instead of living the days that we are living in health, Baruch Hashem, and with our families and in our homes and in what we do have and all the blessings that we do have, instead of living with all of that in a way that's dragging our feet, but I don't have this, and because as a human being, we see what we don't have and then we harp on it. You know what I'm saying? We see what we don't have. We see the lack. Okay, we have a home, we have a bathroom, we have running water, we have food in the refrigerator, we have money in our pockets, we have health in our bodies, we have our vision, we have our children, we have our husbands, but we don't have this. And then what happens to us is that all of our focus goes on to what we don't have, if we don't try to change that. And we have the power to change that. But yes, focusing on all the things that we do have. How do we say it? How do we do that? We word them, we say them, we say thank you for them. We're always saying thank you for the same stuff over and over again. And we try to breathe life into it. We try to breathe new energy into it. We try to really take a moment and see it for a second, just see it for a minute. Okay, that I have this, that I'm experiencing this is my life. Because what happens, and this is what we're saying this whole time, is that what happens is that when I harp on what I do have, and when I harp on how beautiful it is, and when I harp on how good it is, and when I harp on all the blessings in the Jewish people, and all the giving, when I was sick, do you know what happened over here? I don't even know what happened over here. My house was flooded with people bringing over food, cooked meals, vitamins, the thing that monitors with oxygen, games for my children, prizes. I can't even tell you what was going on here. Neighbors that were bringing things over, organizations that were sending things over, friends. My boss sent a whole shipment of like a whole shipment of food, and incredible, just amazing. You know, beautiful what's coming out of the Jewish people now with this whole Corona thing. You know, what's coming out of us. People are doing chesed with one another. People are going to hospitals. People are contributing and donating money and unbelievable things that only I myself have witnessed. I can't imagine if we all put our stories together, what kind of beauty came out from this time of darkness and illness and sickness. What kind of incredible, we only see the fighting on Facebook and we see the news that they show us. We're not seeing all the love and all the caring that's happening amongst us as well. So much. Baruch Hashem, we're such a beautiful people and we're so strong. And we're so powerful. We are so powerful. Our neshamas are fire. We are so powerful. We get to lead the world, the energy of the world, where this thing is going. And if we're gonna keep harping on what's not, we're just gonna keep getting what's not. We have to start harping on what is. See the love in the other person, see the goodness in the other person, see what is in the other person, instead of constantly seeing what they're not doing enough of and they're not giving enough of and where they're not meeting your needs enough. And instead of seeing that, see where they are, where they're trying, where it's hard for them, and where they also went through things in their life and where it's not easy for them and they're still trying and they're still going every day, day in, day out, and they're doing what they're trying to do their best. And come from that angle and come from that space, and then you create love around you, and then you create a good energy around you, and then people want to be close to you, and then you have people in your life that are giving to you, because people always say, maybe Devorah, people gave to you, but people didn't give to me anything when I was sick, and people didn't do anything for me when right? But where are you? Where are you in your mind and your thoughts? Are you looking at the other person and depicting them in such a dark way? Are you saying, fine, they did this and this and this, but that doesn't matter because they didn't do this and this and this? Where are your thoughts? Where is your focus? Remember, what you focus on grows. What you focus on, you end up seeing. You end up just seeing a lot more of it. You just see it show up all the time. Everywhere you go, you just see it show up. That's what happens. We are creators of our lives. You have a life that is rich with loving relationships, people that love you, good energies, give and takes, good conversations, good Shabbos meals. You're in a good vibe. You feel, because you are looking at the world from those lenses. You are looking at people. It's obviously, listen, some people are predispositioned to look at everything through flowers and sun and rainbows and butterflies and, I don't know, cotton candy. I'm not. I'm really not. I am prepositioned to look at the world in a very harsh, critical, realistic, I got it. Like, I know what that person was thinking when they looked at me like that. And I know what they're thinking. And, that's how I'm prepositioned to look at the world, predispositioned to look at the world. And that is exactly what it means to create vessels. It means I'm prepositioned to be this way. Okay. So now I am going to preposition myself to be the way I want to live, the way I want to experience, the way I want to, the relationships that I want to have, because I understand as an adult mind now that what I think I manifest. So if I look at the bad, I'm going to manifest bad. And what I harp on, I'm going to see everywhere. And what I put my energy on, it grows. And when I only see the bad things he's doing and the annoying things that he's doing and the frustrating and what he's not doing, when I'm always going to see, when I'm only putting my focus on that, that's what's more, that person just is somehow miraculously acts more like the thing I don't want them to act like. Duh, because we are manifestators, yes, of our reality by what we choose. It's a choice. It's a decision, my friends. It's not a knee-jerk reaction. It doesn't just come. You literally have to force it. You have to force it. Oh, I'm thinking that my kid is lazy now. So instead of thinking, oh, I caught myself, you stop the reaction. I stop myself and I say, oh, no, what am I going to see in him that's good? Oh, he took his plate off the table. Oh, he's responsible. Isn't that nice? Ah, he thought of me and he pulled out a chair for me so I can come sit down. Ah, he got me a cup of water. Ah, he cleaned up after himself. Ah, okay, but he didn't go to Zoom and doesn't listen to you all the time and he is chutzpahdik sometimes and he's dirty and he's taking up showers and you always have to remind him to brush his teeth. I'm not talking from experience. I'm just, perhaps this happens to some people here. And so therefore I focus on what he's not. I see what he's not, and then that perpetuates. So you understand what we're talking about here? We get what we're talking about here. So we're going to end this talk by seeing this in this week's Parsha. Okay? It's exactly in Tu B'Shvat. It's exactly what we're talking about, and it's exactly in this week's Parsha. And this is the energy that we are touching on. We're literally on this. So you have to understand, this is really, really crucial. You create the energy every moment. It's not, how do I do it? How do I work on it? But how do I make that happen? But how do I become a person that people love and that people want to be around and that I want to be around? And how do I create that loving energy in myself? And how do I open my heart? And how do I love life? And how do I, it's not something that you have to go to the end of the world to realize. You literally, all you do is you see these two eyes. I'm going to really make it simple here. I'm going to make it simple because my brain doesn't chop it oftentimes. And I teach this stuff and I learn this stuff and I brainwash myself with this stuff. And somehow my mind has a way of just making it feel like, oh, it's really hard for me. Hey, Bela. And making it really hard for me. Hey, girl. So it makes it really hard for me. It escapes me. And what happens? So this is very, very simple. This is how I've simplified it for myself, and I'm going to share it with you. These eyes, okay, what you see, you translate. What you translate sets off a chemical. That chemical makes you feel things. So what you see is up to you to translate. Get the translation the way you want to feel. Because what you put out into the world, you're going to get back. So you want love, you have to put it out into the world. Now, how do you put it into the world? You have to make your heart feel. How do you make your heart feel? You make your heart feel when your heart's in this place of no one invites me, no one loves me, no one sees me, and he doesn't care about me. And if he would, then he would do that. Or if she cared about me, she would invite me, or she would even think to pick up the phone and call me, or all the things that we're thinking. Okay, and that is what is making what you want at arm's length. It's not giving it to you. Why? Because that's stuff you're putting out. You're not putting out heart opened. You're not putting out loving energy. And again, like attracts like. When you put out loving energy, you draw loving energy. All of a sudden you have good people in your life. All of a sudden you have good conversations, good relationships. People invite you, you invite other people. You're finding yourself in this vibe, in this set, in this motion that you like. You're liking your life. You're enjoying your moments. You're not trying to escape them. You're not trying to skip them over. You're liking what's happening. You're building. You're excited. You're creating. You're getting the juice out of life. No pun intended with Tu B'Shvat, because that's exactly what happens on Tu B'Shvat. Tu B'Shvat, the juice of the tree starts to go up the tree, and that's when all the growth happens. It's the juice coming out of the disintegrated seed. It's this juice. And so the juice that we're talking about right now in our life is understanding that if I want to get the juice out of life, I have to put the juice out. My heart has to open. In order for my heart to open, I need to translate what I see in my life from a good direction, from a better angle. I need to. He has 30 things that are bad about him. He has 2 things that are good about him. Harp on the 2, harp on the 2, harp on the 2. Just keep harping on the 2, harp on the 2, harp on the 2, harp on the 2. You want to see good? Harp on the 2. All of a sudden, you'll multiply. Just like the frogs in Mitzrayim. Every time you hit them, they multiply. You want to see more good? Stop focusing on what's bad. See the good that this person is doing in the world, that they're doing for you, that they're doing for themselves. That just see the good in the person. You will see how things start to change in your heart. Because when you see the good, it sets off a thought. The thought has a chemical, a physical chemical reaction. You literally are creating chemicals in your brain. The chemicals in your brain determine how you feel. So when you see good in another person, and when you see the heart in another person, and when you see the good in what's going on in the world right now, and you see the good in the person that's writing on Facebook that you feel like punching in the face, but you just start trying to see the good in them. Go into their profile, look into their eyes, try to see something good, because we're trying to perpetuate good. We need to perpetuate good, to feel good, to draw good, to manifest good, to live good, to breathe good, to eat good, to experience a happy life, and not just a personally happy life. Klal Yisrael has to wake up. We have to realize that we are setting the tone of the world. We are in the driver's seat. And now, as long as our vision is going to be on the future, you want your child to be a perfect child. I know you do. You want your kid to be amazing, on top of his game. You want your husband to be the most loving husband that gets it, romantic, on top of it, perceptive, into you, right on time, leaves you alone when you want him to. Everything, just the perfect package. You want the money to come in easily. You want the house to work perfectly. You want yourself to be so organized. You want to be skinny. You want to be healthy. You want to be a perfect person. Okay, basically, that's the picture that we're drawing. We want this perfection. Okay, first and foremost, God doesn't want us to be perfect at all. That's not where we have to put our money. That's not where we have to put our focus. We have to put our focus on trying to train the dragon. All right, that's it. Training the dragon, and it happens in increments, just like the seeds grow and we don't see them, and later we're going to see the fruits. We're going to see later the fruits. Right now on Tu B'Shvat, why is it a thing to eat fruit, right? Shefes Aminim and the different types of fruits that we have. Because what the fruit symbolizes, in essence, it's the sof maaseh b'machshava tchila. What it symbolizes in the end, in the bottom line of stuff, this is, okay, what sprouted from back and Tu B'Shvat, when it was dark, when it was cold, when it was gray, when there were no flowers, there was no nothing, and there was no sight of anything good happening anywhere in the near future. But this was really happening underneath the ground. So this is the end result of that beginning process. That fruit that you're eating is the end result. So this is the geula in essence. When it's dark, when it's gray, when I don't see the light at the end of this dark tunnel, when I don't see where I don't see where all this is going, where all this seems a little too harsh, God, and we need a little more rachamim here, where things seem a little too, hard to deal with, down to like basic life living. Everything is just stopped, right? And things are really, 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 even for the places that are not feeling it as much. Like I heard my parents told me in Florida, they're not feeling it as much. But if you tap into it and you see what's happening, you're feeling it, you see it, it's happening all around it, it's happening everywhere, right? But it's happening and it seems so dark now. But in essence, in reality, if we're going to keep our eye, if we keep our eye on the apple, we keep our eye on the good out of the 15 that's bad, the harp on the 2. If we keep our eye on what's coming, if we keep our eye on the energy that we want to experience, if we start dancing by ourselves or with our kids, which is what we need to do. We need to do this. This is not an exaggeration. This is not some hippy dippy thing. This is from the sources. This is in our sphere. Okay? We need to already start celebrating Mashiach. Turn on the music and envision yourself literally Mashiach coming, and you're dancing with all of Klal Yisrael. And oh my God, there's Moshe, there's Rachel Aminu, there's Devorah, Neviah, there's all these leaders and all these people, Mashiach, and all the sick people are healed, and everyone's with simcha, and everyone's together. We have to get into that energy. We have to become the future energetic, emotional body that we want to experience. And this is when it happens in this week's Parashat. Listen, they end up on the other side of Yam Suf. They are thirsty. They want to drink water. They pressure Moshe Rabbeinu by doing what? By complaining about the what is, the isness of the times. The isness of the times, the vaccinations, the thing, the mass, all the hatred, all the groups, all the different opinions, the isness that they're complaining. Oh my God, what are we doing? What's going to happen? This is not okay. What's going to happen? This is crazy. This is crazy. What's going to happen? They're all in this dark energy. They're in this stressed out mode. And then they're like, yo, leader, hey, hello. we need a drink. We're going to die out here. We're going to die out here. They're saying the same words we're saying right now. Hey, we're going to die out here. What do we do? Yes, no, yes. Where do we go? Where do we stay? What happens? Israel, America, Israel, vax, not vax. What do we do? We are going to die out here. Did you take us out of Egypt? Did you make us cross the sea so you can bring us out into the deserts and kill us? Huh? No. And what they did with all of that negative energy of that fear and that trepidation and that, oh my God, this one has corona or that one has corona, and all the fear that everyone's having and everyone's instilling in each other and in our children and all the fear. Whoa! What the fear ended up bringing was Moshe hitting the rock. Moshe didn't get to go into Eretz Yisrael because he hit the rock. Do you know what that means? We didn't get to see Mashiach because of that fear. We didn't get to see Mashiach because Moshe would have come into Eretz Yisrael when we built the Beis HaMikdash and seen Mashiach. And created a reality that was eternal with love and bliss and connection and goodness and all the good things that you could possibly imagine in a lifetime, quadruple times a million that. What an experience Mashiach is going to be. What an amazing, loving, connected. Everyone is their best self, their highest self, their happiest self, loving and giving to each other with a direction and a clarity and Avdas Hashem and all of the things that are going to blow our senses on every level. That's what we were, but we were scared. So what is it? What happens to you when you're scared? What happens to us when we're scared? What happens to people when they're scared? When you're scared, what do? You act scared. You act, you vibrate, you frequency, you put out fear. And fear is the harshest energy. Because fear, even Moshe, it slipped him up. It even slipped up Moshe. That he hit the rock and he didn't speak to the rock. Because speaking as opposed to hitting. Think about wanting to control your dog. Okay, and let's not take a child for an example. Let's hope we don't hit our children. But your dog is about to do something, right? So instead of just saying, "Hey, buddy, don't do that," right? A clear message to him would be to hit it. But the right, it really goes better with a child. This example, the right way is to take the time to explain. The right way is to explain but even though it's the longer way, it's much easier to control by hitting. It's much easier to control by scaring. It's much easier to control by taking someone's head and forcing him to eat this thing. It's much easier to control something, the situation, and get the outcome that you want to get when you hit, as opposed to when you talk and when you exchange ideas and when you explain. Moshe was supposed to talk. The energy was supposed to be an energy of talking, of communication. Dibur is milashon chibur, is to connect. He was making connections. The desert is all about the energy of it's so deep. It's the actual story of what they went through is such a deep story. It's such a deep story. He was supposed to do over there in Refidim, the tikkun that Refidim was supposed to happen, because why was it called Refidim? Ki rafu yadayim min Torah, right? That place was the place where it says rafu yadayim, their hands got weakened from learning Torah, from understanding reality the way it really, really is. What's the rifayon? What's rifayon? Rifayon is when something gets weakened, when your understanding of something, when your vision of something gets weakened, where you don't know what you're really talking about or dealing with or how to react or what you're really looking at. So in essence, they got scared because up until that point they were living on this like emunah high. They were living on this amazing emunah high, and they saw the world with amazing clarity, how everything was together and how everything is just perfect, and how everything fits together and how God's on their side, and they saw everything with such clarity. And all of a sudden they're in this position, and now they're here, rafu yodeh min Torah, which means that they lost sight of what's really going on. What was really supposed to go on over there was that Moshe was supposed to talk to the rock, because when you're medaber, then you're mechaber. He was supposed to create a tikkun in that place. He was supposed to create a tikkun of connection, even more connection between us, him, God, and the Jewish people. All it was in Eretz Yisrael and getting the Torah. We were just about to get the Torah. We were just about to go there. He was making tikkunim. All the places that they went, they slept there for a day, they slept there for a year, they slept there at different times. They went through the desert for 40 years. They could have crossed Yam Suf and gotten to Israel in a much shorter way, but God took them a much longer way, because they had to go to all these places, just like you do in your life, and you go through all these tachanot, you go through all these experiences, and you meet this person, and this person stays in your life for a year, and then they disappear, and then you have another person that stays in your life your whole life, ever since you were born. They're on your train, they're in your, your what's it called, the thing in your train. What's that thing called? The thing that you sit in the train, whatever. Right? They're in your train, and then they walk off. So some people stay on forever, from when you're born till ever. And some people are on for a day, and some people are on for a moment. You have a moment's experience with someone. You're a waitress in the restaurant. You have a moment's exchange with her. She was someone that you were supposed to have that exchange with. And this long relationship, and this shorter experience, and this job, and whatever situation that you're in, we are going through the desert of our lives, and we go from tachana to tachana, from one stop to another stop, just like the Jewish people did in the desert. Especially now that we're in these parshios, especially the energy is completely a desert energy. Of God, we are scared. But as long as we're scared, we're manifesting negative energy. So what happens? So Moshe Rabbeinu hits the rock, and then they get the water, and that well keeps them going till they get to Eretz Yisrael. That's where they get all their water from. So it seems like they did the right thing. They complained, they cried, they were scared, they hoped, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. They thought that being in that vibe of the, oh my gosh, oh my God, it's so scary, and what's going to happen, and who's going to get sick, and being in that fearful state of all of that. We can go through Corona, we can go through Corona. We can go through the vaccine, we can go through vaccine. We don't have to fear monger. The fear is creating bad energies. We don't want it, but it's a heart that's making us fall into that trap. That's what he's making us fall. We think that it's a mitzvah to be afraid. No, fear is never a mitzvah. It never creates anything good. So what happens to them? Listen to this. Listen to what the Lubavitcher Rebbe says, and I want to end with this. He says, there was no water to drink, but instead of trusting that God would provide for them, the people complained. Moses strikes the rock with his staff. And then the rock gave the water. The Jews were then attacked by the nation of Amalek. And listen to what he says. This is unbelievable. After they complain and they get the water and everything sort of kind of looks like it's working out for them, what happens? Amalek came and fought against Israel at Rephidim, where they were. In the place that they complained, in the place that they were scared, in the place that, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, instead of trusting, instead of being in this place of like, okay, we're thirsty. Tov, we'll get through this. We got this. You got this. We know you got this. Hello, we know you got this. If we don't know you got this now, I don't know what's going to happen. But they were somebody over there, I'm assuming, maybe it was the Erev Rav, that started getting people to panic. What's going to be? What's going to happen? What if we don't get the water? What if it continues this way till we get to Eretz Yisrael? What's going to happen in this desert? Are we going to get through this? One person talks to the next, and then this person gets scared, and that person gets scared, and maybe we're all going to die. And what if we all die? Like, what if this was the point? What if the point was to bring us all out here and to kill us? I mean, what if we don't know this God? What if Hashem meant to do this to us, to bring us out? All the fear mongering, all the scary talks that one person was saying to the other person, and then it escalates and it escalates and it builds momentum and it builds an energy and it builds an energy, and then everyone's fighting and then everyone's scared and then everyone's, oh my God, what's going to happen? We're all going to die. We're all going to die. We're all going to die. Sounds familiar? Sounds familiar? Does it sound familiar? Because that's what everyone's talking here. Fear of death. Hi, what's your name? Fear of death. What's yours? Fear of death. Oh, so what do you think about the fear of death? I think the fear of death is insane. Do you know how many people I know that died? Oh my gosh, are you serious? I also think the fear of death is insane. That's what everyone's talking about. Just replace fear of death with corona, and that's everything everyone's talking about. Shabbos tables down the street, wherever you go, that's what we're talking about. We are talking about this fear of death that we call death, aka why are we scared of corona? Because we're scared of dying. We can't keep talking about the fear of death and expecting the fear of death to go down. We need to start talking love of life. We need to start talking Geula language. We need to be Miriam with the tough that she's already banging away before we even got out of Mitzrayim. She's already seeing the future. She's already manifesting what's coming. It's coming. Good is coming. Amazing is coming. Mashiach is coming. Geula is coming. Love and connection and happiness and togetherness is coming. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. That's what we need to. We need to dance it. We need to talk it. We need to give it to each other. We need to infuse it in other people. We are the chosen people for the 7,000th time. We are the ones that are going to create that energy. You have to talk it to your kids and talk it in your home and dance and sing and create an energy of trust and knowing that Hashem is taking us exactly where we need to go. And we don't have to worry about the water. We're going to get the water. We're not going to have to worry about the water. Instead of start bugging down, oh my God, are we going to drink? Get up and dance. We are going to drink. Baruch Hashem, we're drinking. It's already happening. We're so grateful for the water, but you don't have water. We're so grateful for the water. We know we're going to have the water just like you took care of us all the generations. Every single generation, there was something that wanted to kill us. There was something that wanted to get rid of us. How many more times do we need him to prove to us that he's going to come and save the day? How many more times? The Greeks, Persia, Purim, Mitzrayim, all the times of history, the Jewish people survived. How are we even here? It doesn't make any sense. We're completely godly, so we got to get into our godly positions, which means start creating what you want to see, start harping on what you like, on what's good, on what's wonderful. Start giving that out, and then your heart will become an energy. It will become a force. And you will attract and you will give out, and you will attract and you will give out, and it will be beautiful to be around you, to be in your presence, because you are focusing on what is. And you're not seeing the what is not always of life, of reality, of your kids, of your husband, of your friends. You're not always seeing the what's not. And that's the beauty. That's the power that we have. And what happens at the end of this is that they end up manifesting because they complained. Because complaining means I'm scared, and scared means I don't trust, and I don't trust means that you don't got this, God. You don't got this. I know it's shaky. I know. Oh my God, this is like, the Tanaim say that by the end of days, it's going to be so shaky. It's only going to be the people that are going to have emunah that are going to hold on. It's going to be so shaky to hold on. It's going to be so shaky, the ground. It's not going to be easy to remember that God has us and he knows exactly where he's going with us. And all he needs us to do is sing and dance and love and give and be appreciative and know that good things are coming and help one another and put out good energy and not fearful energy and not scared energy. And don't imbue that into your children and into their DNA. Stop. We have to be in a place of geula already if that's what we want to attract. And at the end, they attract a war with Amalek because, or in the same place where they were weak was the place, because where does your enemy get you? He hits you in your place where you're the most weak. It hits you in your energy, and in the place where you're the most weak, and Amalek shows up on Refidim, on the scene of Refidim, Refayon, weakness. It's where we got weak. It's where we lost our vision. It's where we lost our view on reality. Where we forgot that, oh my God, yeah, of course we're heading towards Geula. Of course, this is all part of a bigger plan. Of course, my only tafkid in this scenario here is to love and to give and not to get petty and not to fight people and not to accuse people and not to disagree and whatever it is that I'm doing with people and not to call people names or talk lashon hara. Of course, that's not of course the focus is that where we're going. Of course, he's taking us for a brighter future. Of course, Mashiach is coming. Of course, we're at the end of days. Of course, the nevuos are real. Of course, it's all happening right before our eyes. Of course, he's going to save us just like he has time and time again. Of course. All right. So let me not get distracted by all the small voices and the background voices of all the things that are trying to scare me, that are trying to come at me and make me feel fear. Because fear and emunah do not reside in the same place. They do not reside in the same place. It's either or. And the world is doing a really good job at scaring us. A really good job at instilling fear in us from one another, from each other, from coming near each other, from our opinions. Every person has their own opinion. Everyone has their own thoughts. Everyone's very charged, very charged. This is our time. They manifested a war with Amalek because they were literally, Amalek is a manifestation of how we feel on the inside as the Jewish people collectively. They're not real. They're not real. They're a facade. They're created. We manifest them. We birthed them. We gave birth to Amalek. What gave birth to Amalek? The fear, the worry, the lack of trust, the lack of unity. That's what gave birth to Amalek. That's what gives birth to all the dark energies in the world. The fact that they come in figures of people, it doesn't mean anything. It's Amalek, so it was Haman, so it was Antiochus, so it was all the bad people in our history, Hitler and Machshemo, so it was all these people. These people were birthed. They were birthed by our energy. That's exactly what happens in this week's Parashat. And that's why they had to fight Amalek in order to get the Torah. You have to fight in order to get back in the game. You have to fight in order to become a real creator of your life, a real active creator, not some passive person that's sitting there. It's like, it's so hard for me. God did it. Blah, 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 blah. Then you're perpetuating more of what you have, and we don't want that anymore. That's old script. That's Gaulish script. That's old. It's boring. It's boring. It's out with the old time. It's time to get in with the new. And getting in with the new is seeing the future and acting as it's happening right now. You want to be happy, get up and dance. Get up and dance. You want to love in your life, get up and give. See another person. Try to do something for somebody else. Extend your heart. Extend in whatever little way. Extend. And that is the ending to this very lovely evening, because I'm going to go do a Sudas, somebody bought me fruit and it's all the same color. We're going to add some fruit to it. And remember, when you're eating this fruit, when you're eating your fruit, after you make your bracha, just remember what it symbolizes, because it's so brilliant and beautiful and incredible, and it's real. It's really, really happening right now. It's not some like story that's like so nice and that's like really heartwarming. I'm not into these heartwarming stories. I'm into facts. And the facts are that this is energetically taking place now over the next 24 hours. Now, over the next 24 hours, you want to get back in your lane. You want to get back on the horse. Get back on the horse. Getting back on the horse means creating your future, the future that you want. And the way to do that is by harping on what's good and not seeing the what's bad, not focusing on what's bad, creating a good energy in your home, creating a good energy in yourself, laughing, smiling, saying good words, giving compliments to yourself, saying nice things to yourself in the mirror, creating a good energy in your house, taking it to the next level. And that's how it happens. And in order for us to get the Torah, which is next week's Parsha, which also happens to be my birthday Parsha, for us to get the Torah, we need to get a hold of Amalek. And we need to get him, and we need to understand that you're coming at me where I'm weak. You're trying to scare me. You're trying to intimidate me. You're trying to drive a wedge between me and my siblings, and between me and my Jewish people. I know that's what you're trying to do, but I'm going to be higher. I'm going to be better. I'm going to be on top of this. I'm going to be already dancing the Geula dance. I'm going to be here with my drum, dancing and envisioning myself with Klal Yisrael greeting Mashiach. Oh my gosh. So beautiful. If you've never done that, do it. It's so worth it. And it literally propels us. It brings us towards that reality really quickly. Amazing how that happens. And so that's tonight's class. Oh, so go eat your fruit. When you eat your fruit, remember that this is coming. Not dried mangoes, but the fruit, the sweetness, the end result of the darkness, it's coming. And so let's keep our minds, when I'm eating this, I'm thinking, I want to be a fruit-oriented Jew. I want to keep my eye on the goal. I want to keep my eye on the beauty, on the bounty, on the love, on the wonderful traits, on the compassion I see in the world, on all the things. I want to keep my eye on seeing Geula and seeing Mashiach and greeting it with all of us together. And that's where I want, that's where I'm keeping my focus. That's where I'm keeping my focus. It's going to keep pulling me down. Oh my God, but look at what this happened and that happened and all these fears and all these scares. Remember, fear equals lack of emunah. You want to instill emunah into the walls of your home, not fear. So with that, have a beautiful Tu B'Shvat. Rosh Hashanah La'ilanot. You know what? I'm even going to make a bracha right here, right now. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pri ha'etz. Happy Tu B'Shvat, everyone.